who they teach is the father of Jesus Christ. Who is his daddy? God is supposed to be his daddy, right? God. Now we say God, we talking about the creator, right? That made all things, right? But right, but here, who does he say his father is? David. He's saying David is his father. So is that true? Is that a lie or is that the truth? Based on what Christians teach, that would be a lie, right? Based on what they teach, right? But then he said in the bright and morning star. Is that true? Is he the bright and morning star? Let's find out. Is he? Let's find out. All right. So right here, we go right here. He said, Matthew chapter 9, verse 13. It says, "For I have not come to call the righteous," right? He hasn't come, he has not come to call the righteous. Who did he come to call? The sinners. So is he the morning star now? If he come to call the sinners and not the righteous people? Yeah. That makes sense. He's piecing this together. He's piecing this together for us. Now we go down to Revelation chapter 2, verse 27 through 29, and he says, "Just as I have received authority from my Father, right? I will also give that one the morning star." See, this is like a trickery. He said, look, he said, just as I have received authority from my Father, right? Yeah. I will also give that one the morning star. Who's the morning star? The devil. He's going to give them the devil. So if you believe that, then that's what he's going to give you then. That's what he's saying here. If you believe that the Creator gave him his power, then he's going to give you the morning star. He's going to give that person the morning star, or those people the morning star. He says, "Whoever has ears, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." See, again, if they're blinded, they won't hear that. They will not see that. Okay. And we go down here, we connect this right here in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. The devil, Satan, who deceived the whole world, was cast out onto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Where was they cast out into? Here we go. Go down here. Jesus came to them and said, what? All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Who is that? That's three males, right? That's three males. Okay? That's the symbol. All right? And this is what he's saying, right? So Revelations is a tricky way of letting us know, you know what I'm saying, who is who and what is what. And this you can find this in Matthew chapter 28, verse 18 through 19. All right. Now we go down to Revelations chapter 13, verse 3. All right, this backs it up, okay? And I saw one of their heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast. All right, so this right here describing that he died and he came what? He came back to life, right? Then they say he rose 3 days later, yeah. After dying, yeah. Right there. All right, so how can this be a deception though if we have never encountered this individual or the likes of this individual before? Well, we have in ancient past. This is important to know your history. All right, so we got Hermes, Asclepius, Serapis, Zeus, Themis, Adonis, Attis, and Osiris. See, I highlighted those names. Osiris, Dionysus. I highlighted those names. Demigods' previous attempts. These were the devil's previous attempts. This one went through. I mean, he got those people back then too. You know what I mean? But this is probably the longest run he's had. So when you hear these like Christians really talking out in space, and talking about other dimensional worlds and all this stuff like that. This is why they're talking like that. Okay? Because they're talking from a place that's not from here. And we're gonna go into that. All right, we go to the next page, 59. All right. So what's wrong with this teaching? When we go in the Old Testament, we'll tell you what's wrong with this teaching, right? So he says that he's the offspring of David in Revelations 22, right, verse 16. Is that true? Because he said he was supposed to be the son of God. But see, if he was, see this is David's teaching. They shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, whom they sacrificed to the idols of Canaan, and the land was desecrated by their blood. Right? In Jeremiah chapter 19, verse 45. And they filled this place with the blood of the innocent. They had built the high places of Baal, or Baal, however you want to pronounce it, to burn their sons in the fire as offering to Baal, or Baal, however you want to pronounce it. Something I did not command or mention, nor did it enter my mind, God said. So that type of worship, I mean, he don't care if it's like on paper or not. He you know what I mean? But Christians say that this actually happened. This is proof, or it could be proven. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But this stuff don't even enter our Creator's mind to worship Him in this way. All right, last Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 4 states, "You must not worship the Lord your God in their way." All right, this is the same thing. All right, and then this is the problem we got right here in Acts chapter 5, verse 30, Mark chapter 14 to 15, Matthew chapter 26 to 27, Luke chapter 22 to 23, and John chapter 18 to 19. Jesus is slaved and hung on a tree. Jesus is crucified on the cross. See, these are the methods that he said do not worship him in the lights of. We're talking about the Creator now. Do not worship him that way. Now we're on 61. Revelation chapter 13, verse 5 through 6. Jesus fulfilled this. So Jesus already fulfilled this, and you got most believers in the Bible, they think that this is something that's either happening now or something that has not happened yet. This been happened over 2,000 years ago. This has been established already. All right, and it says what it say? It says, and he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God and blasphemed his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in the heaven. All right. All right, so how was this done? We go down here in Matthew chapter 24, verse 24 to 25, and ask, for false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I've told you ahead of time. See, Jesus said he told them before ahead of time. Before what? Before he was crucified. He told them this. All right. So before what? Before Jesus and Paul and the rest of the Christians came with their teachings. All right. All right. Before he came with his position of rulership over God's people, he warned them that all these false messiahs and false prophets will come and do what in this verse? They will say he's the Messiah. They are deceivers. All right. The birth of the false prophet. All right. Again, you must not listen to the words of those prophets or dreamers. All right, because we're going to tell you, we're going to show you where Jesus' kingdom is. We're going to show you that. All right, we go down to Revelation chapter 13, verse 7 to 8. All right, now highlight it. All right, it says, it says right here, it says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and the power was given him over all kindred and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb slain from the foundations of the earth. Now, people hear that, they say, oh, that's Jesus because he was slain from the earth. Was he slain from the earth? Didn't he rise 3 days later? He wasn't slain from the earth. All right, there's not talking about him right here. All right, who it's talking about is this prophet that's coming. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, Daniel chapter 10, verse 21. He's going to have a book, all right, that's going to have our true name written in it. Okay, and this person has been slain from the he's been basically removed from the foundations of the earth, right? And then they said about Akhenaten before they discovered him in the 19th century. Yeah. Right. They said the Egyptians, they hit them, they moved them. All right, who ruled Egypt last? Before Egypt became a complete desert, according to their history, the Europeans did. They was ruling Egypt at that time, so they did that. They removed them. They removed the true teachings. Okay. All right, down here I go. I connected down here. Matthew chapter 24, verse 16 to 22. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. Okay? Now, what days will be shortened for the elect? What days will be shortened? That means that that means that we're going to be called out of it. We're going to be called out of the lies. Like there were people called out of these lies. All right, page 63. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. All right, what is that? That's talking about the crucifixion. That's talking about when we see in the sanctuary this type of teaching, we need to understand what this means because this is important. So we're not deceived and tricked. Okay, every day they think the world's coming to an end. That's because they don't understand the scriptures properly. Let's go to page 75. All right, so we gonna get more into like who this messenger is, right? That we're looking for, right? That we're waiting on, right? And what he's supposed to do. Okay. All right, because remember, Jesus said that if he testifies of himself, it's not true, right? But there's another coming, right? That will testify of him, and what he said will be true. Well, that prophet was killed, right? That prophet was killed. That was John the Baptist. So he was killed. Why was he killed? He was killed because was he telling the truth or was he lying? He was lying. So then he said that he was going to pray for the disciples, right? Because I guess he was at that moment he was showing a little mercy, right? He was showing a little mercy. So he was like, well, okay, but he said, but he got to go pray for this. He got to pray to the Father for this one. He got to pray that the Father sends them another advocate, so that who could be with them forever, so that the Creator can be with them forever. So this was his kind of like his mercy for those who were willing to who was willing to accept the truth and wanted the truth. Okay. So this is what this is here. This is why I highlight Malachi chapter 3 verse 1, Revelation chapter 10 verse 1 through 7. All right. And this is who this person is. The one who was like who? Pharaoh Akhenaten, right? Is really Michael, right? The one who was like God. But what's God? God is considered Pharaoh Akhenaten because him and Aten is one. Okay? They one person. All right. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. God breathed through man, he what? Became a living soul. All right. That's what Akhenaten, that's another way, that's another definition of what Akhenaten means. It's that verse. All right. Genesis 2:7. So down here, I got highlighted Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 6. All right. It says, in his days, Judah will be saved and Israel will dwell safely. Now, this is his name by which he will be called. And this is it's like an alias name. It's not his actual name. The Lord our righteousness. All right. Who was called the Lord are righteous back in ancient Israel? Who was called Lord? Who was called righteous? Well, who was called Lord? Let's just deal with that. Who was called Lord in real time, in ancient time, in monotheism? The Pharaoh. Who? Which one? Pharaoh Akhenaten. He was called Lord. All right. Why was he called righteous? What did he do that made him righteous? Like what action did he demonstrate that showed that he was righteous? Because he started monotheism, right? What's that? One God, right? So what did he do that made him righteous? He got rid of idolatry and gave us one God, gave us the one and true and living God. So that's what made him righteous. Because he righted the wrong. He like, yo, why are we giving this power to idols? There's a real God who does all these things every day. And been doing all these things since the beginning of time. let's serve our rightful God. That's what made him righteous. All right. So now here I got Michael, and we already know Michael is. Michael is the one who's like God. So who is like Aten? That's a note tape. That's another note I put. I said who is like Aten? Michael, who is one who is like God. It's not a question mark. Who is he? He is like God. Who is like his God? That was the Pharaoh Akhenaten. All right. Revelation chapter 22, verse 9 tells us that we're going to get an end times prophet, right? So it says, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy prophet, of thy brother, the prophets. So he's a prophet. This angel is a prophet. So up here, Michael, who's the angel, is going to stand up and going to deliver us. It's going to give us a book that got a name in it. This angel is a prophet. Are we go to 77? All right, so is he here again? Revelations, back it up. Revelation chapter 7, verse 10. It says, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel. And then John said he went to the angel and said unto him, give me a little book. All right. And he said, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Remember, this is just like Numbers chapter 12, verse 6 through 8. All right. This messenger is being spoken to in riddles. So we gotta decipher what this means. All right, that this gonna come with the angel that's gonna come with the book. He's gonna explain what this is. All right, so that's what we here to be explaining what this means. What this means is not literally he going to prophesy again. This just means that this angel is a prophet and he's gonna come and he's gonna prophesy again what this stuff meant. All right, this will be the rebirth or the reincarnation, however you want to call it, of the Pharaoh Akhenaten in real time. Because only he can restore it to the ancient time. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Seek the ancient paths, walk in it, and you will find rest for your soul. Only he can restore what he started, what he created. And I put the highlights. God will keep his promise by fulfilling the prophecy. He will give us the truth about him through his end times prophet / messenger, as these three verses will confirm. But when the advocate come, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, John chapter 5, verse 43, his name was not accepted, he said. All right. The name God gave him, not Jesus, the name God gave him wasn't accepted. All right. uh, John chapter 5, verse 31 and 32. If I testify of myself, my testimony is not true. There's another who testified in my favor, and I know that his testimony about me is true. All right, not the John the Baptist, right? Because he had died. So right here, John chapter 14, verse 26, that's not John the Baptist there. That's somebody else that's coming. And then most people think this is the Holy Spirit. All right, but he said the Prince. He gave that spirit a name. He said the Prince. He called him the Prince. So we just read in Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. We know the Prince is who? Michael the Archangel, who we now know by Revelations chapter 22 verse 9 that he's a prophet. Okay?